I've realized that even though I am a heart type, a feeler, a doer, a thinker, but in the heart type, that just because I sometimes experience fear or anxiety or shame, it doesn't really mean that I'm processing what I really want. And so this is more about what I really want and kind of what is God really doing in my heart. And I'm learning a lot in therapy, and that's a lot of maybe what this is about. So just the other day, I got a no from a job that I was really excited about and truly was ready for it and wanted it. It didn't happen. Blah blah blah. It was one of the finalists. All that stuff, right? But it still didn't happen. So, and ever since, I've been tempted to go to the extremes. The hyper functioning, the high achiever, anxious type, or the fearful and anxious and shame filled anxious type or personality type. And I've gone through both for sure. And I at times still feel it. I'm a human, right? We all are. But what I really want is, as I said, what I want to talk about. I think what the last 2 years have taught me is that I needed these last year and a half to unwind the tape, to go through all those cycles of the extremes and everything in between, to come back to my heart. And my heart is for people. And the best way that I know how to do that is through the church, music, teaching, content, meaning being here and creating content, coaching, teaching Bible studies, doing worship, coaching people online on Zoom, teaching Bible lessons online, the church, leading teams, being a leader of leaders, being a gifted communicator, you could say, and a leader, developing teams, as I said, maximizing people, seeing things grow and expand. I've seen it my whole life. But the last 2 years, and maybe even prior to that, I have lost a lot of my, I don't know if confidence, but certainly I feared a lot and worried a lot about money and felt like a failure because of measuring outcomes. But in therapy, I'm learning so much about letting go of the outcomes and realizing that the kid who wants to make no mistakes is the kid who, when I was a young man, thought that by making zero mistakes or by being perfect or hiding his mistakes, he would then be safe. But really, we all make mistakes, and I can now bring my mistakes to the table and be safe and be okay. Second, I can let go of the outcomes and realize that the outcomes, however I measure them, don't change my giftedness, who I am, the success person that others see, the person that is worthy of love, regardless of the outcomes. I think recently I've regained my footing when it comes to my love for the kingdom of God. I've never lost it. Someone was saying, "I'm so glad you're not jaded." I never was jaded. I was always in love, even these last 2 years, with the church. And I've actually been serving as a volunteer for almost these last 2 years, pretty much. But as I said, all the other peculiars or particulars have been in process. I've been healing, trusting, learning, undoing, rewiring my brain with healthier synapses, telling myself a bunch of lies and then exposing them to the truth. I thank God for my wife, my mom, my therapist, most of all my wife, for exposing the truth. She's a one, so she's the ultimate kind and compassionate truth teller. Not demeaning myself by doing things that are not beneath me, but that are just not really probably what I'm most effective at. But valuing myself, not thinking too highly, but not thinking too lowly, which are again the extremes. Taking time this summer to grieve the loss of my father-in-law, to, as I said, go to counseling, to in some ways rest, by not doing so much, doing less, focusing instead on a few things and doing them well. Not overdoing it, but again, not sucking my thumb and just not wanting to get out of bed, which I've done at times, but not as much. So, as I look forward to the rest of this year, we're only halfway through July here. I don't know what God has, but I feel that my soul is coming back. Not to one thing particularly, but most of all, just to myself, to God's desire and creation in me, to His will for my life. The Psalm 139 says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You and I are fearfully and wonderfully made, including our faults, traumas, pains, unresolved conflict, all that hidden motivations, all this stuff, including that. And yet the Father's love is there with open arms, saying, come, son, as you are. Come, daughter, exactly as you are. I love you as you are, as Brennan Manning would say, not as you should be. And I've been telling myself, no, He won't. He only loves me. God only loves me if I, as a three, if my external success looks worthy of love. And it is as it should be, not average or mid, as the kids say, but at 1,000%. Being, everything growing, everything being better than expected. If that's not there, if I'm not perfect, inward, outward, my body, my whatever it is, then I'm not worthy. Then I have to work harder, or I have to just live in my shame. But instead, as I said, I'm learning that that's not true. The Father's arms are wide open. He's gotten me through some amazing stuff, some crazy stuff the last 2 years. Both my wife and I lost our jobs 2 years ago this summer. She lost her mom. She lost her father. I lost my uncle. And that was on the heels of this crazy pandemic. I've second guessed myself so many times. I've given in to fear and shame and overdoing, overthinking, over extending myself. And I know no one likes that. I don't like it. I'd rather, as a three, just go back to being awesome or to being down. But it's necessary for me to be in the moment and to be honest and to live from my heart. Whether my heart is wounded and hurt or whether my heart is ready to love and to give, whatever my heart is ready to do, God is there. Jesus is right there next to me, next to you. And I'm getting ready. I'm excited about the future. I'm not going to lower my expectations or lessen or lower my who I am and put myself down, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. But I'm also not going to, or seek to, learning to, not over index and be the game show host, as I call that guy. These are the lessons I'm learning the hard way. Failure and grieving tends to do that. But therapy has helped me tremendously. The love of my life, the love of my wife, who is the love of my life. The prayers of my mom, a ton of hard work on my end, a ton. The support of our children, you name it. So I'm coming back, slowly but surely. Here I come, ready or not. But not in my power alone. Yes, I can be selfish and egotistical as anyone, but learning to live from grace and from compassion. I'll close with this. I've heard that threes, we love to talk about grace, but not need grace. And that's a big problem. And so I'm learning this time, this season, to need grace, to welcome grace, to be strengthened by grace, to be held by grace. And I think that that's going to bode well for me, my beautiful wife, our children, my family, ministry, whatever it may come. So I share these things to encourage you to process what I'm learning and to hopefully give you a glimpse and permission to, here at midlife, as many I know of you who follow me are maybe at similar seasons of midlife, to know that it gets better. You have to hang in there, find a coach. I am here to help you. DavidFreeler.com/coaching, and to continue forward. So let's continue in this beautiful mess called life, which is a beautiful gift from God. Don't give up. Reach out to me, reach out to someone, and let's get going again. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Adios.